let them know.
That's fire. Holy Spirit, we have taught the breath.
I appreciate it, dude, man. For real.
Hey, we got Zokin on the beat, feel me? All right. This already started?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, man. We back. Last week, we was not here. Okay, let me get ready. Let me fix myself. Okay. Hey, you tuning in to the MR.NOLDS organization. You at the right place at the right time. You know, hey, click that. Hey, click that subscribe button. Click that subscribe button. You're at the right place at the right time. Hey, click that subscribe button. Like this video. Share this video with your friends and family. You are tuned in to another discussion with the MR.NOLDS organization. And today we have an interesting topic. We're going to talk about money. You know, like I said, we talk about living. Our goal at the MR.NOLDS organization is to teach young men and women how to live a well-balanced life. And one of the brackets is wealth, anything that pertains to money, anything that has to do with money. And one of the things today, one of the topic has to do is with wealth, and that is credit. A lot of people have bad ideas or bad thoughts when it comes to credit, or, you know, just sometimes a lot of us was raised to stay away from credit. Oh no, credit is bad. Credit is cash is king. Credit is, avoid credit. But I will tell you, a lot of the most successful, most financially prosperous people in this world have used credit to their benefit to basically increase their wealth. Your credit is basically, there's a number that you are given. There's a number that you are given. Now it's really you have three numbers. You have your Equifax, you have your Experian, and you have your TransUnion. Now those three right there, those three credit bureaus, they are reporting agencies. So each one is a different number, and those numbers, different factors affect those numbers. Now, based on like what loan you're trying to get or what you're trying to buy, different creditors, they'll pull up different things. Like some may pull up the Experian, another one may pull up the TransUnion. But those are three credit reporting agencies that you have a number, and based on that number is how much creditors can trust you with money. A lot of you guys are familiar with the FICO score. Now, like I said, there's more than just the FICO score, but your FICO score is very important because a lot of times that is what certain agencies or certain creditors will pull up to base on how much, or even if you're approved for that loan. A few things that affect your credit, that score or those scores. One, if you're someone that's just building their credit, that means your line of credit history is, fairly young. So you're from the first time you open up a line of credit, whether it's your first credit card, till the time that is like your longest credit history. So credit history, it plays a huge role into a big role into your credit score. So for example, like if you just started building your credit today, and then let's say there's somebody they opened up their first credit card 8 years ago, they have a longer credit history because they had their first credit card since 8 years ago. You're just starting off. So the length of when you first open your first account or your oldest account that you still have plays a role into your score. Now you also have another thing that affects your credit is the amount of accounts you have. Maybe you're someone, you just have one account open. You have, let's say, one loan or one credit card. So the more you have and you keep in good standing, the better for your credit. So if someone have, not only he has one that's they opened up their first line of credit 8 years ago, but they have a few, like 2-3 more credit cards, or they took a car loan and they paid it off, or maybe they took another loan and they paid it off. So the more accounts that you have that are in good standing, that does affect your credit as well. Now, but there is if you have too much accounts open, that we'll talk a little bit about that. That can affect your credit in a negative way. So now another one, inquiries. So now each time you're going to open up a credit card, or you're going to take out a loan, sometimes they want to look at your credit score. So that's an inquiry. That inquiry goes against your credit. So when somebody do a hard inquiry, like, your score goes down. So whenever you're about to get a credit card, or you're about to get a loan and you do a hard inquiry, that affects your credit. It brings your credit, it affects your credit a little bit, bring it down just a little bit. So that is something you want to be mindful for. Of course, those inquiries get wiped away. Some is a few months. It get removed off your credit history, but you don't want to be opening credit cards, taking out loans here and there, because each time they look up your credit score, each time you go for that loan and they look up your credit score, there is a hit that you will your credit scores take. So that's why if you went and bought a car and you got a loan for that car, the next month you probably see your credit score drop due to the fact that that inquiry on your credit score. So be careful of how often that you're getting these inquiries on your credit report. Now, that is why it's also good. A lot of times, it's best to open up cards that's pre-approved. Now, when you have your first card or you have some credit, a lot of times credit cards will send offers to you throughout the mail or however. Same thing with loans that you are pre-approved for. So when you are pre-approved, it's not a hard inquiry towards your credit. The hard inquiries tend to happen when it's like you go to the bank or you just apply randomly for a card that didn't send you an offer. But these things, once they see you start building credit, they'll send you offers and it'll say pre-approved. So that means the pre-approved is best because that's not a hit against your credit. Now, of course, with everything we teach, we always tell you to look more in depth. I am not a financial advisor, so these are just information that I've learned, and these are information you can get on the web, whether through your Googles, your YouTube, and also consult a financial advisor that you may that you know and trust. So another thing is revolving utilization. So that affects your credit. So revolving utilization is when, let's just say, right, you have a credit card. And let's say you have one credit card. Your limit is $2,000. And you decided to spend $1,500. Spending $1,500, now you're over 60% on that credit card. You've used over 60% of that card because you only have $2,000 in that card. Or for example, so $1,500, you're even at this, you've used 70% of that card. So what that means is you never, when it comes to your credit card, your revolving utilization, you always want to stay under 30%. So that means if your credit card, your limit is $1,000, you don't want to pass $300 at a time. So let's say you use $300, you pay it off, and then you're back to $1,000. Same thing with any other card. And based on your limit, you want to know what is that 30% range. You don't want to go over 30% of whatever your max limit is on that card. Because whenever you pass over 30%, that affects your credit, not tend to be in a bad way. You don't want to have huge balance remain on your cards and on different credit cards, because that will affect your credit score. Now, another thing that affects your credit score is if you have a credit card or if you have a loan and you're missing payments. You don't want to miss payments. Now, if you miss a payment, let's say you have a credit card and you miss the payment by 2 to 3 days, and you pay it off with the credit card company, they do not report it on your credit score. But if it's like a month, if you're a month or two late on your credit card, that affect your credit card. That will affect the credit card company will report it, and then from them reporting it, that will be on your credit scores. So that is a few things that can affect your credit scores. But now let's talk to the beginners. Now, if you're someone, you don't have a credit card yet, what are the best things you can do? One of the best things you can do is ask your parents to put you underneath one of their cards. So let's just say your parents, or you have an uncle, or you have a family member that has a credit card. They had the credit card for maybe like 5-6 years or however long. You ask them, hey, can you put me on your credit card as an authorized user? All they have to do is call the credit card company and be like, hey, I would like to put so-and-so as an authorized user. They'll ask for the person's name, probably social, and a few other information. Now, some cards will give you the option to give them a card. You can get a card, or some cards you don't have to take a card. You'll just be under them as an authorized user. But the benefit of that is now you'll be getting their credit history. So even though you don't have your own card, or even though that you didn't have that card for like a year or two, but due to the fact you're underneath that card, they had that card for 8 years or 5 years or 3 years, you take now under your credit, now under your name, it shows up that you had a card for 3 to 4 years when you really didn't. You're just under their credit card. So that helps boost up your credit. So that helps you start working on your credit before you even have your own personal credit card. That is a big thing. Because imagine if we're young, before we could even have our own credit card, our parents put us under their credit card. We are building credit before we even have our own credit card. So now when it's time to buy a car, when it's time to get a credit card, we will automatically start off with better interest rates due to the fact that we already built credit by being under our parents or a loved one credit card. Now, the things I just told you, they're very simple. You want to look more into it. I advise everyone to look more into it. Now, if you're 18 and older, with your guardian or parents' permission, I do advise you to open up a credit card. Start off, use that credit card, for gas or maybe for food, and then always pay it before that payment is due. Because when you pay it before the payment is due, the credit cards, most of the time, they give you reward points. So instead of you paying interest, you are getting reward points, which accounts for, you could use them to buy. You can use them as in a return as money, get cash in return, or some will have perks like airplane miles. Some of them will be connected to like certain department stores where you'll get discounts and all type of stuff. So we have to learn how to use credit for our benefit. For so long, credit or credit cards or debt has been frowned upon. But I will tell you, credit cards and credit itself can be one of the biggest vehicles you can use to build wealth. Because you'll find out a lot of these big companies, even though they have millions and millions and millions of dollars, when they're making a big purchase, for example, let's say a real estate a developing company, if they're about to develop a new project that's worth $100 million, even though they might have $100 million plus in the bank, they're not going to go put their $100 million all into that project. No, they're gonna go into a creditor, most likely a bank or a second party or third party lender that gives them a good interest rate on the money they need, and they could keep all their cash while they use another person's cash to build and to buy an asset or to create an asset that will make them money to pay off that loan. So that's using other people's money. That's why you always hear the rich don't use their money. They use other people's money. How are they able to use other people's money? They got good credit. So you got to get your credit up. Now we'll be talking more about credit card. This wasn't just an introduction to to spice you up. You could be living on, there's a lot of people. I had one mentor. Of course, he had a lot of expenses monthly, because the expenses was about maybe $20,000 a month. So at the end of the year, he gained so much, majority of his expenses he paid with that credit card. So mind you, I told you when you use a credit card, they give you points like money back, cash back, and all that good stuff. At the end of the year, he had so much cash back and points, he used it to take his family out on vacation. Like $5,000-$6,000 worth, of money due to all the cash back he received. So there are some people out there that they have, because of how big their expenses are and how good their credit is, they use these credit cards to get rewards and to treat themselves. There's a lot of people you see they use their cash back to reward themselves and buy themselves luxurious things and nice things. And because they're being paid to use these credit cards instead of having to pay interest, because they pay when you pay before a certain time. Each card is different. When you make a purchase, instead of getting hit with interest, all you do, you just get reward points. So we'll be talking more about that. That is something that you definitely should be interested about. You should be excited about, because hey, I want anything that pays me to use them. Hey, that's a beautiful thing. So, but you must do it correctly, because there's a lot of people, when it is being done wrong, that suffers. When I tell you suffer, they suffer from credit card debt and all type of debt. So yes, credit is a good thing, but you do not want to mess your credit. So stay tuned to the MR.NOLDS organization. This was just a little introduction about credit and some of the uses and the benefits of credit. So stay tuned. We'll be talking more about credit and how you can use it for your benefit and all sorts of other things. So, like I said, subscribe right now. Subscribe right now to the YouTube. Subscribe right now to the YouTube. Hit that notification bell, that little bell. Hit that bell so when the next time we have a video, and so you automatically get a notification to click that video to tap in. And also share this video. Share this video right now. Share this video right now. Right now. I know it's the end, and we normally have a power question. My power question for you today. How well do you understand credit?